I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we delve into the enchanting world of the Blue Orb by an amazing writer. Her name is Susan Vivian, and she has written a riveting tale set in a mystical land. This story introduces us to Xyrene, the realm's most powerful wizard, and unfolds a gripping adventure involving Jasmine, a courageous young woman, and Zarkon, a great wizard. Together, they embark on a perilous journey to thwart a vile coven of witches, determined to wield the legendary Blue Orb's power, not for good, but for evil. That's right, you guessed it. Join us right now as we explore this epic narrative of good versus bad, good versus evil, courage, and the strength of purpose. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us once again here today on Spotlight. We thank our team at Prime 7 Media for helping us put her in the spotlight today. We ask viewers like you to support writers like her by subscribing to our channel and, more importantly, purchasing her wonderful book. The links are below this interview. Susie, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Well, it's so good to be here. I really appreciate it.
My
Thanks, Lo.
pleasure. You're one of my favorite guests, so it's great to have you back on the show. And your story is so original. It's such a great sci-fi fantasy. Let's give the folks at home who haven't heard you before or haven't read the book an overview of what the Blue Orb is about.
Well, as you said, it's about a wizard, Xyrene, who created the orb. And it was created to take a wizard's spell and magnify it. And then with blue light, it shot out and actually magnified it more than the wizard thought. And then it would suck the life out of them. So then through the ages, they learned how to turn it off instead of letting it continue. But then these witches found it, and so they were going to use it to control the world and have all their vile passions be used to do that. But Jasmine, this young woman, she figured it out and knew that they had it. There was a blue light up in one of the castle windows. So she snuck in one time when they were gone, and she stole it. And she ran and she got a horse and rode to Zarkon, who has helped her to keep their goal is to keep the orb away from the witches. And so Zarkon kind of really doesn't want to use it because it has such a grip on the wizard who does. So anyway, they're trying to decide how to keep it away from them, and the witches are after him, and they have wolves that chase him too, and there's monsters on the way.
It's such a great story. It's such a great adventure. It's very epic and very sci-fi. It's a really unique world you created. Tell us a little bit about the inspiration in creating the magical world of Uranallee. Am I saying it correctly? In the story of the Blue Orb?
Actually, I don't know. I've read science fiction. That's my favorite. Fantasy, my whole life reading. So I've read a lot of really great authors, and I finally decided, back in my mind, it's like you always want to do it. I always thought I want to write a book, but I never did. And then finally I just decided to do it. I just started writing, and I just I don't know, it's like the book almost wrote itself.
Right.
The story just flowed. It was really fun to write.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And the pages turn themselves because it's that good of a read, which is great. That's what James Patterson always says. The pages turn themselves.
Well,
So are you working on a sequel, perhaps? Are you thinking about following up on this story?
actually, I have. I've written two more books. The first one after Blue Orb is the Monsters in the Mist, which were monsters that were in the Blue Orb. And then I've written a third one called Neberon Comes. And I know that Monsters in the Mist is available on Amazon, but I'm not sure about Neberon yet. It's in process. So
Gotcha. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I'm sure your fans will be happy about that. And have you envisioned the Blue Orb as a movie? And if so, who's your dream cast?
Oh, wow. I would love it if it turned into
Yeah,
a movie or a short sequel or something. Um, because there's a lot going on in the
yeah,
story. I think it would be fun. So, Dreamcast,
yeah.
I don't know. You could be Zarkon. You could be
Really?
Zarkon.
Okay, good, good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I don't know why I think of Angelina Jolie as
right,
being Jasmine, because she's
right,
always known as the heroine, in
right.
action fantasy kind of
Action
things. And
hero.
so,
I think
yeah,
Jennifer Lawrence has kind of taken her spot, so maybe we have to
yeah,
replace her with Jennifer Lawrence. But I know the
probably,
type
yeah.
you're going for. So a
Uh,
swashbuckling woman who has got a lot of personality and could
yeah,
handle a strong role like that. Yeah,
yeah. She has to be
absolutely,
pretty tough. Yeah.
absolutely. Was there a I'd love being Zarkon though, but that's awesome casting. I get to play a bad guy, and I think it's a good change of typecasting for me. Because I always play the news reporter, or the anchor, or the talk
Yeah.
show host. I want to
Yeah.
play
You could
Zarkon.
do
That's what I do.
something more challenging.
Yeah, I need to stretch my range. That's for sure. That's what we call it as an actor, for sure. Absolutely. Is there a moral or a lesson you're hoping that people take away from the story? I know a lot of it's just about entertainment, but
Yeah.
is there a little bit more to it than that?
Well, I was going for Jasmine to be small instead of being this tall, really strong woman. She's kind of small and looks almost like a child, but she's really strong.
Mhm.
She can handle whatever comes her way, really. Um, and so I wanted to have somebody who was, I don't know, the opposite of the usual heroine, but yet a heroine. I don't know
Yeah,
what,
exactly. You
but
don't want
it's,
somebody who's cookie cutter.
yeah, cooker cutty.
Yeah, there we
Yeah.
go, cooker cutty. There we go.
Yeah, I wanted a different heroine. And
Awesome.
I think it was because I wanted good versus evil and the real challenge. These witches are really vile. And so I wanted it to be so that even though Jasmine isn't the typical heroine, she has a group of people helping her that really make it good for the
Mm.
group to go after these witches, and they have plans to meet them and how to take care of it. But I just, I don't know. I just wanted a different story
Mm.
of good versus evil plus any, to kind of say that even though you're not Shira or this Batman or something,
Right.
that
You're not a
if
Marvel
you really
character.
wanted, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you really want to do something, you study, you learn, you do it. I mean,
Mm.
like me writing a book
Yeah.
is ridiculous, really. But I just
But you
decided
did
to
it,
do
and you
that,
said it just flowed, which is great. I think you've been scripting that in your brain for a long time, so when it came to put it down on paper, it just came on out, which is great.
Yeah, yeah,
Awesome.
pretty
Who are your
much.
sci-fi influences? What do you like? Is it Star Trek, Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, or the Hobbit? Where do you draw your inspiration?
Um, Kind of The Hobbit,
Hmm.
because he's a non-hero type,
Right. Yep.
but you know, he can save the world. And
Yeah.
so there's that element plus I don't know, I love Star Wars,
Mm.
and the magic they use and all that, the
Yeah.
force, and I don't know. I just love science fiction fantasy, and
Yeah.
so
I think you like world crafting. I think you like creating different worlds where different creatures exist, different powers exist, where the meek can stand up to the strong. I think that's at the heart of it, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
exactly.
Right. And when ordinary people do extraordinary things, I think it's kind of more impressive than if some ripped guy comes out who's all jacked up and, you know, saves the
Yeah,
day. It's not as
yeah,
interesting as if a girl who could be a child like Jasmine saves the day. So I think that's great. So
yeah.
you've worked on the two sequels. What else is going on in that word processor brain of yours? You working on anything else? You got some other ideas cooking?
Yeah, I have another book that takes off from one of the characters in the Neberon book. And I wanted to make her into a novel too. She's um, actually, I guess you call her a werecat, where she's this beautiful female, but
Mm.
then she can turn into a like a panther or a cat, big cat. But anyway, I think that will be fun to write too.
Yeah,
I got to start on about 50 pages, but I
absolutely,
think it'll be fun
absolutely.
too.
Do you ever
Another
get
different.
feedback from some of your readers? Are you in any like sci-fi Reddit groups or anything like that?
I have not.
Okay.
I should look into that
Yeah,
more
you
just to
should get
see.
into one of the groups where people talk about their books and sci-fi and all that. And
Yeah,
readers, if you're listening, Susie would love to hear from you because
yes.
it'd be nice to hear what they think of the story. It might even actually spark some ideas of which way you could go, what direction, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
would be fun.
yeah,
I need to get into that more.
yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm kind of afraid to. I don't know why. But I think it
Exactly.
would be really
It
interesting.
would be fun. I think you're a little bit of a technophobe, but once you get past that, you'll enjoy interacting with people who are really into sci-fi, They go to
Yeah.
Comic-Con and dress it, the whole bit.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
I
good stuff.
volunteered at Comic-Con before, and it's a blast. All the costumes and everything. I could wear a costume and go to it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. I also think your book would be a cool graphic novel where, some great illustrations would bring it to life as well. So that's another way
Yeah,
it could be brought to life. And
yeah.
collaborating with an artist might be something fun to do. So the
That would
the
be
uh,
that'd be
possibilities of the
great.
creative world are endless, which is what's so exciting about it, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Susie Vivian has written a wonderful book. It's called The Blue Orb. It is a riveting tale set in a mystical land. It introduces us to Xyrene, the realm's most powerful wizard. I was hoping to be him, but apparently I'm
Oh,
relegated
well,
to
you
being a
can be
bad
Xyrene
guy.
too.
I'm only teasing. And it unfolds a gripping adventure involving Jasmine, a courageous young woman, and Zarkon, a great wizard.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take that. That sounds great. They embark on a perilous journey to thwart a vile coven of witches, determined to wield the power of the legendary Blue Orb. Great story. It's a classic, along the lines of a Star Wars kind of thing. It's a completely different world, completely different characters. I think you'll love it. Yet a lot of it is recognizable as well. Susie, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This has been so fun. I so enjoy talking with you, Logan.
I enjoy talking to you as well. Always a good time, always fun. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.